Right, we are officially recording. So, welcome everyone to Women's Advocates' first trauma informed mindful movement event in collaboration with Lindsey from Embody Yoga and Expression. We're so excited to have her here with us today. I do want to just say two announcements. This is being recorded. The recording will be sent to all of you, as well as an opportunity for a certificate of attendance, and then also a post-event survey. We'd love to hear your feedback if you want more events like this in the future. Without further ado, I'll have Lindsey introduce herself to you all, and she'll talk a little bit briefly about her organization, about yoga, and then we'll get right into it. We'll end promptly at 5:45, and we'll stick around for about 10 minutes later for just community building, if you have any questions or anything of that nature. But thank you for being here.
All right, hey everyone. Thank you, Brennison, for the intro. Again, my name is Lindsey, and my pronouns are she, her. Let's see. Oh, we had a little switch in the screen, sorry. Okay. I am the founder of Embody Yoga and Expression. So just a quick rundown. It's a yoga studio based in North Minneapolis, and we have opened inside of a private therapy practice. So on one end, there are providers for therapeutic services and family mediation. On the other end of the building, there's peer support through embodiment practices such as yoga. Let's see, if you would like to stay in touch, if you have a positive experience today, you can find us at embody-community.com. And we are also on social media. I'm happy to add that in the chat at the end of class in case you need a visual for that. So that's where we are. That's how you can find us. And just a little blurb about why I was trying to reach women's advocates. Pairing Up today has some sort of a personal tug on the heartstrings. Because the mission of Women's Advocates is incredibly valuable for folks going through some hardship impacted by domestic violence. And need I say more, and Women's Advocates does some really great work, and just coming through again as some peer support and just overall support to the community. All right, so we'll move on to what you can expect for class today. As you can see behind me, I have my chair and I also have a mat. That's because some of us might want to be seated. Some of us might want to explore in other ways. All of this is merely a suggestion. So at any point your body says back off, at any point your mind doesn't want to go into something, please just hang out with us, stay with us, but skip on some things, that's fine. Let's see. I think that is all I can really say right now. Everything's a choice. We'll go through some subtle movement, so you won't be getting a workout today. And we'll go through some mindfulness practices. We'll go through some mindfulness practices that are helpful for grounding. So grounding techniques are particularly helpful for folks who do have PTSD, complex trauma. I'm probably preaching to the choir a little bit, but sometimes we can leave our body, right? We can dissociate. So having ways to connect with the senses and stay in our body are super helpful for some. And yoga has proven to be beneficial for that some. So I won't say too much more. Let's get started. So you can pick a shape with your body. I will be going into the chair just to be seated. Oh, do you have a question?
I launched the poll, so just so you know, I'm going to share the results with you so you can see where people are at. It looks like we have 42% of people who say that they have some experience, but they would say that they are a beginner. So I just shared it.
That's helpful. Okay, thank you. Excellent. Yeah. Look at that. We got some good variety in here. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, participate in the poll there. It's helpful to have an idea of how we may or may not be able to meet experience-wise, but I will emphasize the fact that this is all going to be subtle movement, accessible in a chair or standing, etc. So my priority is to make it friendly for beginners or avid practitioners. You would be the ones to share feedback on that though, so please don't be shy afterwards and let us know. Thank you. All right. Great. Yes. So I'm going to scoot those things to the side. Virtual world, sorry. And we can get started. So picking a shape with your body, as I mentioned, you can be seated like myself. Some of you might want to be seated on the floor on your mat. Maybe you've been sitting all day and would like to stand. We'll just start out with a little bit of a check-in with ourselves. So grounding down with some awareness here. So first, you can let the hands relax either on your legs or if you're standing by your side. And choosing if you want to open your eyes, maybe focusing something in front of you, or you can close your eyes. And here, just see if there's any physical tension that might be living in the body right now. So if there's any tension, maybe that lives in the shoulders, if you've been looking down all day, or the neck, maybe there's some movement that might feel a little bit of a gesture to release that tension. And next, just seeing if there is a way you can start to listen to the sounds around you. So maybe there are sounds in your space, aside from the sound of my voice. Perhaps there's sounds that are outside your four walls. Maybe you can hear traffic. Maybe there's other people you can hear. And see if you can just start to come back to the body and feel the temperature of the room. You can even tell yourself if you feel warm or cold. Maybe you're running hot. Bringing attention to the breath next. So we're all able to breathe. But see if you can notice how the air enters your body. So if you want it to enter through the nose, or maybe you breathe through your mouth. And once you're able to notice your breath there, see if you would like to deepen your breath, kind of like that long day exhale. Seeing how the belly might expand or descend back in. If your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them. And next, we'll just take a chance to look around the room and see if there's something you can notice that maybe you didn't notice before. So it might be a little detail, it might be a big detail. So there's always something I notice in my wood floors. But we're using our vision to acclimate with our space and seeing where we are. All right, and for some of us, we may want to stand for the next piece of our movement. So you can stand or you can remain seated. I turned so you can see my movements, but you can stay facing the screen. So letting the hands come to the side of your chair or the side of your body. Letting your lungs completely exhale. So let go of that, all of that breath. And then when you inhale, see if you can raise your arms up to the ceiling. When you exhale, you can let the hands rest on the legs to fold forward, or if you're standing, folding down. Then inhale, you can press through the palms to slowly lift up. And exhale, forward fold again. So I'm going to lower my heart down. If we're standing, some of us might have bent knees, like this, okay? Or we might want to press into something. Even the chair you can press into. Coming back up to standing neutral or being seated. We'll try that again. So letting the hands rest down by the side. Then inhaling, lifting the arms up towards the ceiling. And you can exhale, forward fold. So bending the knees if you're standing is okay. Hands on the knees if you're seated. Then inhaling for a half lift. If you're standing, that will look like this. And exhale, forward fold again. Then lifting the head back up to that neutral place we started, and palms can face forward. So I failed to mention earlier, as you can see, I have my back to a wall. If the folds are feeling a little funky, have your back to the wall. See how that feels. The wall can support the spine, and it also is a little more comforting for some of us that might have higher anxiety. So back to the wall if you would like. And hands at the side. Then exhaling completely, so try to empty the lungs. Then inhale, lift the arms up. So I'm going to reach out far and wide, all the way up to the top, connecting my palms to exhale, letting the palms float all the way down, and repeating that. So we'll peel our palms away, and inhaling, lifting the arms up. Then connecting the palms as you exhale to float down. Some of you might be inhaling again already. Some of you might be exhaling completely here. Repeating this again. Don't worry about matching with me. We'll be here for a few moments. We're just trying to inhale when we reach up and exhale when we lower down. And peeling our palms away, there's a little sense of touch that's happening there. So when you inhale and connect your palms again, see if you can feel the temperature of your own hands. Perhaps you can feel a texture in your palms. And the mind's a tricky thing. It might want to rush us through that exhale. See if the breath can stay the leader in this. Nice. I see some people really reaching up. Good. Side note for folks who have any shoulder pain, you can keep the hands down at the chest height where we lift and lower. We'll all seal up with our hands at chest height. So stopping in the center and turning the elbows out, fingertips in. Any shoulder pain, lower the elbows. All right, on the same page. So fingertips are touching. From here, next is we'll inhale again, full belly. When you exhale, we'll try to squeeze our shoulder blades down and back. So we squeeze, then we inhale and bring our fingertips back to the center. And you can repeat this a few times, so we're letting our shoulders and our neck get warm. Again, this is accessible standing. As we exhale, we squeeze the elbows to meet in the back. And when we inhale, the fingertips come in front. Some warmth may be building in the shoulders. If there's any discomfort, you can back off and join us in the next movement thereafter. Finishing that last exhale where you squeeze. You can let the hands either rest at the side or they can rest on your lap should you be seated. Now that we warmed up our neck and our shoulders, we can give our neck a little bit of a stretch here. So letting one ear go to the same shoulder. You can slowly lift the opposite arm away from the body. So lifting it away. And the slower, the more likely you'll find some crunchy spots, we'll call it, where the shoulder might need a little bit of that sensation. So you can explore, yeah, I see someone going a little further back, yeah. And if space is an issue for you, bent elbows, you'll still get it, okay? So letting the head come back to center here. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, go ahead and drop your ear to the other shoulder. Any neck injuries or surgeries, caution. I trust you know your body. Just slowly lifting that arm and experimenting if you feel anything in the neck here or even down in the shoulder, or the collarbone. And right now we're just building awareness with our physical self. But I will tell you, it sounds like our shoulders are a really common place we carry stress. So see if you can just kind of stretch out yesterday. Get it off the shoulders there. Coming back to center after you've explored. Next with the neck, granted you can have some mobility here, even just looking side to side. I say even just as there's a way to still move, not as if it's an ulterior. So you can look side to side here, however your range goes. Or we can let an ear go to a shoulder, then slowly tuck the chin, kind of rolling the neck down, and coming up on the opposite side. Coming back to center, and then see if you'd like to do that a few more times without me. So just you and your neck, just getting to know if there's any tight spots or crunchy spots, we'll call it, that you can care for, giving care to your body. Rolling the neck or looking side to side, either way. And we'll all stop just looking forward, back to center. You can be seated on the floor in a chair, or you can stand for this. So a favorite way for myself personally is having my hands kind of reach for the knees and my shoulders stay out of my ears. Then we'll go into cat-cows, they're called. So what will happen is we'll exhale and kind of round our back like a spooky cat and kind of tuck the chin. And then when you inhale, you can lift the head up. Optional to arch your heart to lift forward. And repeating this a few times where we exhale, we round like a spooky cat, tucking the chin a little bit. And then when we inhale, you might want to pull on the legs a little to assist opening that heart space. So again, repeat this on your own. Exhale when you round and inhale when you lift through your heart. If lifting through your heart isn't feeling right, you can inhale and look up. Right now, this is going to give our spine a little bit of mobility, warming up the back a little bit. But also notice how fast or slow you're going here. See if the breath can be your leader. And if there's any change you want to make in that speed, your choice. Going down the spine. And finishing up that last breath cycle you're at, we'll all meet in the center. Again, standing or seated. Next, I'll come close to the screen to show you how I use my hands. So at one point, we'll have our palms face the ceiling. So I have a little turn action, and I kind of hold on to the opposite wrist, yeah? So it's there's a little pull that will happen here. So it looks like this. All right. Thanks for bearing with me in our computer world. Okay, so again, you can let the arms come all the way up. And then you can pick which hand, doesn't matter. One palm's gonna face the ceiling, the other one's reaching up like you have a question. Then loop that thumb and pointer finger around the question hand, the one that's reaching straight up. And when you exhale, we're gonna go to the side and give a little tug. So pulling through that hand, just a little bit. And you can come back to center. We'll do this a few times. Same thing on the other side though. So I'm gonna let the palm face the ceiling, grab the opposite wrist. Yeah, nice. I see people going for it. Good. And it shouldn't strain, right? So leaning to the side might be demanding for some of our backs. So I don't find my full edge. I kind of just do a little bit of a tug on the wrist and kind of go to the side. You'll feel it here, you'll feel it here. And last one, if you want to get the other side, just trying to play around here again. Greeting your body with where there might be tension, what you can do to care for that tension. And letting the arms come down. All right. All of this is accessible standing or seated. So now that the hands have come down, just like before, we'll exhale completely, emptying the lungs. Then inhale, arms come back up, upward arm pose it's called. When you exhale, you can either twist to the side, have one hand go to the opposite knee, and one hand on the back of your chair. Trying to look over that back shoulder, and trying to avoid pushing to force your body to twist, but more so looking over that back shoulder. And we'll come back to center. Hands can be in the lap. If you're standing, I'll give you a visual note before we move forward. So this one is where we're in the chair. We have our hand go across to our opposite knee and we're looking over. If you're standing, or if you want to play around in your chair and you have space, we'll go from our upward arm and drop to reach far and wide. So I'm reaching far and wide. So in a chair, you can do this as well. Just a matter of space for some of us. So either way. Yeah, try it. Yeah, good. Woo, you're flying. And then one arm goes in front. Yes. Good. And coming back to center, we'll give it to the other side. So if you haven't already, exhaling completely, empty the lungs. Then inhale and reach the arms up nice and high. When you exhale, you can cross the arm to the opposite knee. Hand can rest on the chair, looking over that shoulder. Or you might be reaching far and wide. Maybe taking up space sounds nice today. And coming back to center. All right. And so we got our little twist out of the way. So we'll repeat everything we just did one more time. And starting from the top, again, seated or standing, optional to explore. So from the center, palms are at the side of your body. Exhaling completely, empty the lungs. Then a nice long big inhale all the way to upward arm pose. So the hands reach for the sky. And when you exhale, you can forward fold. So hands can support you in your lap to lean forward. Then inhaling to lift the chest up. And exhaling to fold again. So if you're standing, you can have bent knees here. Then one more time, inhaling for upward arm pose. So some of us might be standing. And exhaling, forward folding. So your hands can be at your heart if you want. Forward fold. Then inhale for a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And go ahead and inhale and sit upright or standing upright. Exhaling up top. Hands coming down at the sides. At your speed, go ahead and let your inhales lift the palms up. Remember when we connect our palms together and we exhale, floating them all the way back down. So the breath is telling us when to move, and the mind is telling us how to breathe. So repeating this on your own. I'll let you know when we finish. Right now, we're just trying to explore exhaling when we lower our hands. And inhaling when we reach up. A sense of touch is occurring here, where you can feel the temperature between your palms. Maybe you can feel the texture of your own hands. If we have a bouncy mind today, you can label that. My hands feel warm. My hands feel rough or soft. Experiencing your own set of hands. Continue that a few more times, and if you have any shoulder pain, you can keep the hands more towards the lap, or you inhale and just lift towards the heart. And exhaling, letting the hands come down. Yeah. We'll all meet, giving our peers time to finish that last exhale, right? So we're all gonna meet with our hands at heart center. So that's about chest height here. And once you get there, we're going into the fingertips and the elbows come out. Yeah, all right. So option again for the shoulders, if this is a little much for you, because I can feel the demand, then letting the elbows come down a bit. So we'll go more at an angle, okay? I got you. So either way, when you're ready, we take a big inhale, fill the belly, because we want to use our diaphragm. When you exhale, try to squeeze your shoulders down and back. We're going to do this a few times, remember? So stay with your breath. Inhale when you come back to center. When you exhale, you squeeze down and back. Asking your shoulders to try a little bit, but not too far. It's all just getting to know where that tension is, how you're breathing. Maybe you can hear the sound of your own breath. And last one, just finishing that last breath cycle. We'll meet with our hands in our lap or side body. There's no rush there. Ooh. All right. And same thing as before, either looking side to side or allowing the neck to go down, tucking the chin and up on the opposite side. Then stopping up top and trying the other way. So a few times. And you know your neck more than me, right? So that's where this is optional. If you find a spot that needs a little more attention, hang out there. Again, it's just a second where we get to take care of ourselves. Noticing the neck and shoulder, just a second. And letting the head come back to center. If you were a fan of that stretch in the first round, allowing an ear to go to one shoulder and lifting that opposite arm. So we don't have to have it totally extended. It can be bent and just taking your time. So really slowly exploring if that does anything for you, okay? If it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you just have a better pillow than me. Just giving that arm a little bit of a chance to tell you how the shoulder is doing. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So ear to shoulder. When you're ready, go ahead and play around with lifting that opposite arm. Maybe it won't go very high, or maybe it goes all the way up top, and the slow lower can give you more of a sensation. So some of us might want to play around with tucking the arm more back than being on the side. Yeah, and coming back to center if you haven't already. All right, and seated cat-cows. Again, it's optional to do standing. So I'll show you standing. All of our chair warriors know how to do it now, but our standing warriors, I'll give you some attention here. So when you're ready, exhaling, we'll tuck the chin, kind of rounding like a spooky cat. And then when we inhale, we might open the palms. We might want to open the heart a little, looking forward, and exhaling, rounding. We might bend the knees if we're standing a little bit to get more shrugged. And inhaling, letting our heart beam forward. So repeat this on your own a few seconds here. Get to know the spine. Check in with the breath. The breath is responsible to tell our nervous system how we're going to be. So sometimes if we're breathing really fast, we might be stressed out. So slow breathing can help us tell the body it's okay. It's okay to be calm. It's okay to rest. So a few more big breaths. Big inhale when you open the heart and look up. Big exhale when you tuck the chin and point the crown down. We'll seal up this movement here. Honoring that breath cycle, go ahead and finish it out. We'll meet in the center again. All right, we're flowing now. And our side body stretch. Remember, everything's optional. But that was the one where we have one palm kind of facing the ceiling. So I'll get down here too. You can't really see when I reach. So we'll inhale and lift up. Turn that one palm up, and then when you exhale, try to lean away from the arm that you're pulling. So a little bit there. And see, I'm not going way over here. Just a little bit. I can feel I'm pulling through that wrist. I'm pulling through here. And you can go back to center if you haven't already. Letting your next exhale switch hands and go the other way. So just giving that arm, the side of your body, a chance to be felt, chance to be seen here. Coming back to center, letting the arms come down. Go ahead and roll the shoulders out this time. If you kind of want to roll them up towards the ears, roll them down back towards the ground, maybe a few times. If the shoulders are moving more than they usually do, you don't have to do the rolls. All right. And next we'll go to our twist here. So seated or standing. Letting the palms face forward, side body. When we inhale, we'll let the arms go all the way up. And when we exhale, we'll let a hand go to the opposite knee, and the other hand might go behind us on the chair or on the ground, and look over that back shoulder. When you're ready, we'll come back to center. See if you can inhale and let the arms go back towards the sky. Nice and tall, yeah. And when you exhale, go across the body, gently rest on the knee there or the thigh. The other arm may be on the chair looking back. Next option to repeat that, or we'll let the arms go far and wide. So next inhale, the arms are gonna come back up. And exhale, look to the other side. You can drop the arms far and wide, looking over that back shoulder. One more time where your inhale is your center, and you exhale, twisting to the last side at your speed. You can reach far and wide, or reach for that knee. Coming back to center, where we all meet together. All right. This is our last bit here. So what we've been preparing for is what's called, it's called eagle. So we'll have one leg cross over, if that's comfortable for you. Cool. If not, cross the ankles. If you're standing, you can use a wall, you can use furniture, okay, to explore. If you'd like to cross a knee over while standing, so I have bent knees and I have a foot resting on the floor here. You can hold on to something. This is just our introduction to options, so I appreciate your patience while your peers get an idea of what they're able to explore. So here, you can float that foot even. So we're asking a lot of balance there, which is why holding your chair is helpful. Yeah. So I'll remain seated. We have an idea for our legs. Crossing one leg over the other. And lifting the arms to go in front of you about shoulder height. So this is kind of what I look like right now. Then what I'm going to do is cross my elbows, my hands, to give myself kind of a little bit of a hug here. And a lot of people might start to rock here, really getting into that sensation, right? But I'll tell you a little trick here. If you give yourself that little squeeze, noticing how it may feel. If it's a little constricting for you, go ahead and come out of it. But what's fun is the brain doesn't know the difference between if someone else is hugging you or if you're hugging you. And so the same oxytocins are going to be released. That's that cuddle hormone or whatever you want to call it. So our brain knows no difference. So enjoy. And this is an option called eagle, right here. Go ahead and come out of it if you would like to kind of shake the hands, maybe shake the feet out. And the options, again, standing with support of a chair or a wall. Crossing the ankles in your chair or the legs all the way. As you've determined your options here, so foot on the floor. Oops, I'm doing a dance around my chair here. Foot on the floor, bent legs, or you can float the foot and start to explore this here. Demand for balance. As you found your variation with the legs, now we're going to try to cross the opposite arm on top. Okay, so if you don't remember, your body will. That's the fun part. So see if you can lift your arms, and if it feels familiar when you cross shoulder height, maybe you need to switch the arms. See, now I gotta see. I think it was this one. Yeah, so the higher we cross up, the more our hands can reach. The lower, our hands are going to reach a little bit lower on the arms. So that's why we try to reach up high. Anyone who's familiar with like a weighted blanket, if you like a good hug, who doesn't? You can squeeze the arms down onto the heart. Give yourself a little bit of that compression here. And you'll feel it. Yeah, so you can give yourself this. Again, some people like to rock here. I have a little swivel chair, so I might get playful with it. And again, it's just giving that little bit of a hug, and there's a little warmth that might be happening here as you enclose. Letting the hands come away from the body. All right. And we'll prepare to wrap up here. So for folks who are on a mat today, you're welcome to go into what's known as corpse pose or Shavasana. I'll be wrapping up in the chair for those who are in a chair with me. So setting yourself up how you'd like. Corpse pose is just laying down on your back. For me, I prefer my seat today. I have something against my back. My feet are on the ground, okay? All right, I see people adjusting. And just a moment here, we'll check back in with the body. So you can use me as a guide or block me out, but we'll start off with just noticing how our feet are on the floor. You can wiggle your toes if you have extra energy at all. Maybe curling the toes on the floor, or maybe just lifting the toes. All right. And go ahead and just notice the backs of the legs. Perhaps they may be resting on the floor or against your chair. And as we wrap up here, there's no need to be able to see me on the screen. Just checking in with yourself here. And next, going up towards the shoulders. Again, if there's any tension that you want to roll out, you're invited to move the shoulders again. Anything left in the neck that we're able to move out, go ahead and wiggle the neck a little bit. Just building awareness with parts of our body. And coming down to where your hands may be resting, noticing if the hands are running cool or warm. And next, seeing if there's a sound in your space that you are able to hear. This can include my voice. Maybe you have music playing for yourself. Maybe you share space with someone. And if your eyes are closed, you can slowly open them. We'll extend our arms standing or seated to reach for the sky one more time. And we're really, really engaging every muscle in the body. I suppose if you're laying down, it's a full body stretch, my mistake. And then at your next exhale, try to release all of that tension. And then try it one more time. Inhaling, either lifting the arms or extending engaging every muscle in the body. So you're very, very strong, all the way from your hands to your feet. Very, very strong, and then exhale and let it all go. All right, typically we'll seal up by bringing hands to heart center. The teacher in me honors the teacher in you. Thanks for joining practice today. If you'd like to, you can seal up by bowing to each other. And one little way to end is rubbing the hands super, super fast together. So our hands get super warm. So rubbing the hands really, really, really fast. And then when you're done, placing the palms over the eyes or the cheeks. So notice I don't cover my eyes, I'm covering my cheeks, but you're welcome to cover the eyes and feeling the sensation of warmth. All right, so it's 5:46, my friends. Ooh.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Lindsey, that was really great for me personally, from my personal experience. I appreciate you being here. I just sent the post-event survey in the chat. If you could click on it, I'll also send it in an email, so don't worry about it if you miss it. But if you could take a few minutes, just give us some feedback, that'd be really great. You can also, I'll put it in the chat as well, email outreach@wadvocates.org requesting a certificate of attendance. And then this is being recorded still. I'm going to end the recording in just a few moments here, but that will be available too as well. So be on the lookout. It might take till tomorrow for everything to upload, but everything should be good by then. Well, Lindsey and I will stick around for about 10 minutes here. We hope you have a great rest of your day. We hope you learned something. It was a positive experience for you. There is one question in the chat that might be applicable for a lot of you, so I wanted to just bring attention to it. So someone in the chat asked, can you discuss the trauma-informed approach as participants and instructors are interacting? For example, if I have trauma and an instructor comes over and my eyes are closed and they put their hands on my body with the intent to assist my stretch, but I don't want that, how do I avoid a situation where I'm uncomfortable and they are uninformed? I'll jump in as I'm talking, and Lindsey, feel free to add anything. But in my personal experience, hopefully we're shifting the culture where more yoga instructors are being informed of trauma and that it's a very common experience. And I've seen at certain studios, they'll have little cards that you can flip over that at any time during the practice that say, yes, touch is okay, or no, touch is not okay. But if you know ahead of time and you want to feel more safe during the class, I'd recommend showing up a few minutes early and being able to pull the teacher aside and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know of an experience I've had in the past. I would just prefer, especially if you have a preference for no touch at all during the class, specify that. But if you, and you don't have to explain why, you can just say, I've practiced before, I just want to let you know that I do not like to be touched anytime during the practice, or you can say when my eyes are closed, or specify in that way. And I would really, really hope they'd respect that your wishes and that they do their best to remember that you requested that. You can even bring your own piece of paper. Honestly, like I would bring an index card that said just please no touching, smiley face, and place it next to your mat. That's an option too. So there's a lot of different things that you can do as well to try to make sure you get the most benefits out of your class, because that's really what the teacher should be aiming for. But Lindsey, feel free to add anything to that question.
Yeah, I will add. And was that from Rachel I saw, or Raquel? I'm sorry, I'm scrolling back up. Rachel, okay. Nonetheless, whoever it was from. Yeah, so if you already practice or want to start practicing, it is helpful to know starting out looking for trauma-informed classes and instructors. So researching for places in the area that do prioritize trauma-informed instruction. the stamp doesn't really mean much until you go experience it, right? So Rachel, I'm sorry to say, I'm with you on this. It's re-traumatizing for someone to come into your space and touch you without consent. Let's be honest. So I'm sorry that that happened. And when it does happen, I am a huge fan of what Brennison said, to just bring your own note card to say, not today, ask first, whatever. But also, the instructor, if they're trauma informed, they'll give you an option to communicate that to them. So just, yeah, because there's going to be corporate like franchise yoga, which might not prioritize trauma informed. Then you're looking more at a case by case where it's small business, where whatever their standards are, look into them. Yeah, good question.
Great. I'm going to stop the recording.